Okay, 47 is just a tangent equation that has been transformed from its parent graph. So there's a lot of transformations taking place on this curve. And so we want to get the tangent of the parentheses by itself, just like we got the tangent of theta by itself originally. So I'm going to divide by 4. And that gives me tangent parentheses theta plus 2 pi over 3 is equal to negative square root 3. So I want to know for what angle is tangent equal to negative root 3. And from 0 to 2 pi. So if I think about, I do have a transformation taking place. The plus 2 pi over 3 means it's the whole graph is shifting left 2 pi over 3. But if I just focus on the basic tangent curve from 0 to 2 pi, okay, 0 to 2 pi, that's my tangent curve. I'm looking for where is it equal to negative root 3. So that's going to be somewhere between pi over 2 and pi. This pi is right in the middle there. And somewhere between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So between pi over 2 and pi, that's quadrant 2 on a graph, and with the unit circle, and 3 pi over 2 to 2 pi, that's quadrant 4. So quadrants 2 and 4 are where tangents are going to give you a negative answer. Then I need to know my tangent ratios. So I know tangent of pi over 4 is equal to 1. I know tangent of pi over 6 is equal to the tangent of 30 degrees. Tangent of 30 degrees, the 30-degree angle is across from the smallest side of a 30, 60, 90 triangle, which is the 1. So tangent pi over 6 is going to be 1 over root 3, or square root of 3 over 3, which is not what I want. The tangent of pi over 3 is a 60-degree angle. So in the 30, 60, 90 triangle, that's the middle-sized angle. So it's going to be across from the middle-sized side length, which is square root of 3 over 1, or just square root of 3. So we are looking at originally a pi over 3 angle measure. And so this first one makes sense. Let's see. If we're at pi, then, or we're between pi over 2 and pi, then I can make each of those black marks equal to pi over 3. So my first answer would be 2 pi over 3. And then I'm also between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So from pi to 2 pi, I can split this up into pi over 3s. So pi is at 3 pi over 3. The next one's at 4 pi over 3. The next green dot is at 5 pi over 3. So that's what tangent of this parentheses is equal to. So if I take the inverse tangent of both sides, then theta plus 2 pi over 3 is going to equal 2 pi over 3, and it's going to equal 5 pi over 3. So a quadrant 2 angle and a quadrant 4 angle. Then I just have to subtract this 2 pi over 3 because of this shift. And so theta is going to equal 0 and 3 pi over 3, which is pi. So there's a bunch of transformations that took place on that curve if you were to graph it. You have an amplitude change. There's a horizontal shift, or sorry, vertical shift up. And then you also have a horizontal shift to the left of 2 pi over 3. So when you're solving the problem, what you need to do is get the tangent of the parentheses by itself, set it equal to the value it's supposed to be, so equal to negative pi root 3. Sorry, negative root 3. Take the inverse tangent of that. Inverse tangent of negative root 3 is 2 pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. And then I need to subtract. We will do problems where there's a number in front of theta, and that problem has to be done a little bit differently and it's something that you do have to pay attention to. So 47 is a really good example of a problem that does not have a period change. It has a horizontal shift, vertical shift, an amplitude change, but it does not have a period change, which would be a horizontal stretch or a horizontal shrink. So we still think that there's two answers here, like normal. And again, you could do, once you get it to this point where it's tangent of something is equal to negative root 3, you could go to your unit circle graph and say, well, where is tangent equal to negative root 3? You still have to know that that's going to happen at a pi over 3 angle. Tangent is negative in quadrant 2. In quadrant 4, tangent theta is equal to y over x. The y value is positive in quadrant 2, but the x is negative. So positive divided by negative is negative. And in quadrant 4, the y value is negative, but the x is positive. Negative divided by positive is negative. So I know I'm looking at a pi over 3 angle here. So that's 2 pi over 3. I'm looking at a pi over 3 reference angle in quadrant 4, which is 5 pi over 3. So then I use those in my equation. That's what I did here in pink and black. And then I subtracted 2 pi over 3 in red to finish out that equation.